Episode 10 The Public Eye Rights of the Vulnerable, Duties of the Powerful. Duties and rights are conceptually linked to one another. There are no rights without duties. If a person has a right to something, it necessarily implies that someone else has a corresponding duty to ensure that the right is not violated. For example, if an individual has a right to free speech, then it is the duty of the state to prevent its infringement. Or take the right of religious freedom of, say, American Hindus. Other groups, regardless of their numbers or social power, have a duty not to infringe on their religious rights. If they ever fell short of space for religious worship, the government should help fix that problem and facilitate the public exercise of their right. Isn't it a shame, then, that in Gurgaon, when ordinary Muslims with no easy access to a mosque were prevented by Hindu extremists from praying in the open Maidan, only a lone Hindu shopkeeper and a group of Sikhs felt duty-bound to help them offer namaz? If I have rights that impose duties on others, then others also have rights that enforce duties on me. Individuals have as many duties as rights. Any individual who demands a right and expects others to allow or facilitate its exercise must also expect that she is equally duty-bound to reciprocate. This is so simply because, like her, all others have rights too. We are all rights as well as duties-bearing individuals. I hope it's abundantly clear that rights entail duties, that rights cannot be exercised without the simultaneous performance of duties. Because of their grounding in rights, these rights-based duties cannot be pitted against rights. No opposition between them exists. To say here that we must focus on duties rather than on rights makes no sense. What then could really be meant by the proposition that we must move away from a rights-based to a duty-based perspective? It should be obvious that the framework of rights and duties discussed above is grounded in egalitarian assumptions. However, the moment we drop this assumption, the whole picture of rights and duties is transformed. To be sure, the conceptual relation between rights and duties remains unbroken. Rights continue to entail duties, but in deeply hierarchical, inegalitarian societies, only a few people have rights, while the majority have duties to ensure the proper exercise of the rights of these few. In patriarchal families, the father alone has the right to take decisions. This puts all other members under a duty to abide by his decision. Remember Amrish Puri in the film Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge. He decides without consultation that Simran, played by Kajol, is to be married to the son of his friend at a Punjabi village. Simran has no choice but to obey, to leave her home in London and settle in India. The mother, though sympathetic to Simran, is also duty-bound to not object to the father's decision. The same is true of caste-ridden societies. It is a misconception that the Hindu Varna Vyavastha has only duties and no rights. The duties of Shudra and Atishudras to serve people of higher rank flow from rights possessed exclusively by upper castes. A hierarchical caste system distributes rights and duties unequally. Only a few have the most important rights, the right to be served. The larger population has corresponding duties to ensure that these rights are exercised without hindrance. Any infringement on the rights of the upper caste, especially the Brahmin, according to the Manav Dharma Shastra, the Manusmriti, brings heavy penalties to the violator, sometimes even death. Similarly, in many Islamic societies, rights and duties are gender-specific and unequal. It is men's right to have their testimony in court weighed twice as much as women, who are duty-bound to comply. In absolute monarchies, the king, the Shahenshah, has unrestricted rights and all others have corresponding duties, which increase as we go down the ladder of political hierarchy. Those at the bottom have the maximum number of duties towards the maximum number of people, all ranked higher than them. Talk of priorities of duties over rights are rampant in inegalitarian societies. When people are asked to forget about rights and think more about duties, the subtext is that they should forget about caring for their own rights and concentrate on their duties towards the few. In hierarchical, inegalitarian societies, where power is unevenly distributed, duties are often seen in opposition to rights. Careful attention to the structure of rights and duties in inegalitarian societies reveals its deep connection to social and political power. Those in power have rights, those without it have duties. A transformation from a hierarchical to an egalitarian order does not produce a power-free order. Instead, such changes generate, at least in principle, a democratic distribution of power. And it is this equality of power that ensures a system of equal rights and duties. Indeed, in egalitarian societies, more power means more duties. The powerless have rights, the powerful have duties. For example, it is the duty of the state to ensure that there is no poverty, disease, or unemployment. In this context, any move to shift the focus from rights to duties and to complain about undue emphasis on rights breeds the suspicion that democracy is being undermined and hierarchy reintroduced through the back door. However, one can't altogether deny the importance of a moral discourse that asks people to attend to duties. For, quite simply, duties that do not oppose rights exist, and they do not flow from rights but go beyond them. Let's take an example. A surgeon performs an operation. He does his job efficiently and believes that once done, he is under no obligation to be present in the hospital or talk to the family of the patient. Now consider another surgeon who, after performing operations, feels compelled to interact with the patients and placate their anxieties of their families. Abandoning an impersonal stance, she brings warmth to her interaction. This act of the second surgeon flows from duties that are integral to the surgeon's character, to the goodness of her heart, to her personal virtues, to her commitment to warm social relationships, and does not flow from any right of the patient. To be sure, patients and their families have the right to a surgeon's full attention when she is performing the operation. A failure to do so would mean an obvious violation of the patient's right. But no right of the patient or his family is violated if the surgeon doesn't go the extra mile to personally reassure the patient and his family. A society with people who take such virtue-based, solidarity-infused duties seriously is much better than one where such duties are not valued. If that is the case, it is good to ask people to go beyond rights and think also of their duties towards others and more generally towards society. We all have a duty to build a tolerant society and to remain vigilant against the potential wrongs of our elected rulers. But these duties are moral and non-justiciable. Many such duties are mentioned in our Constitution: to preserve composite culture, to develop scientific temper, to safeguard public property, to protect India's sovereignty and integrity, not to destroy natural environment, and so on. None of them are legally enforceable, but they impose an obligation on all citizens, especially those who occupy public office, to go beyond the call of rights-based duties. Please watch my next episode. Thank you.